Hi my loves, welcome to my first vlog in months and my first vlog for Vlogmas. So I decided, since we're in December, since it's the last month of the year, I thought I would end 2022 with some stuff on my booktube channel, since it's all going to be changed a bit going forward in January, and I thought I would just finish it off with a bang. And December is my favourite month, Christmas is my favourite time of the year, it's also my birthday this month as well. And I just do so much for Christmas and for my birthday, and I just thought it'd be nice to do some vlogs here and there, and I'm in a mood to vlog, so I thought why not. I'm not going to be doing like 12 days of Vlogmas or anything like that. I am literally just going to do a couple of vlogs here and there, like there might be 2, 3, I don't know, but there's not going to be like tons, because I don't want it to be loads, because then it just gets more hard work for me. But yeah, so I thought I would take you with me this week and just get vlogging again, and just, you know, see what sort of Christmas things that I'm going to be doing. This week I have got a few fun things that are happening, but I'll tell you when they happen, sort of thing. But today's plan, I'm just about to head out. I need to pop to the library because I need to give back some books that I'm not bothered in reading or I've read or whatever, but mainly I want to go to the library to do some studying. But also I'm really in the mood to find some Christmas books, but physical Christmas books. I've got a few on my Kindle, but I want a physical book to read. So I'm going to have a look in the library to see if there's any. When I last went, there wasn't that many options, so I'm not holding out on hope, but you never know. But yeah, I want to go to the library just to give some books back, have a look, but also I want to do some studying. So that's the plan today, and I think I'm going to pop to the coffee shop after some studying, have something to eat, maybe read there or do more studying, we'll see. But studying wise, I haven't started my uni degree yet. That's next month. I can't believe it's next month. But I have been, just because I've not been in education since I was like 16, I wanted to get back into learning and like working out my sort of process of how I learn, how I absorb information. And so the last couple of months, while I've been waiting to start uni, I've been doing some free online courses with my uni that ties in with the degree that I'm doing. So I've done a couple, and I'm doing my last ever like free course now, purely because as much as I've still got time, because I don't actually start uni until like the end of January, I wanted to have the beginning of January and lead up until I start to actually do some pre-reading of my uni stuff, and just like sort of start a bit of uni, but like really laid back, just getting sort of used to my degree, rather than doing all these free stuff and then start. And yeah, I just thought I wanted to give January me time to actually just get used to my module and maybe do some early reading, things like that. So the actual course I am doing, and it's my last course, actually ties in with my module. So I'm actually doing a degree in English language and literature, and my first module is discovering the arts and humanities. So it's sort of not into the whole English language and literature per se, but it's more going into how English was sort of first found, how it all changed from like when it first was sort of done to like present day sort of things. But part of my A11 module, I have a section which is discovering music, the blues in particular, and I actually found a free online course with my uni that actually has all of that part of my module in there. So I thought, why not actually do some stuff that actually is directly to do with my module, and also it means I've already got some prior knowledge before I start it. So I started it yesterday. I haven't done much, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it. It's really nice just to learn a different side of music and how it ties in with English language and stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to be studying today. I don't think it's a very long course, so I might be able to finish it within this week, and if that's the case, I might do another mini one, we'll see. But that is the plan for today. We're just going to do some studying, go to the library, go to the coffee shop, and that's the plan today. And I will update you as the days go on with other plans that I have. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this vlog. It might be a bit of an odd vlog because it's been a while since I have vlogged, so I'm sort of getting back into the hang of it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will catch up with you when I'm at the library, and I will chat to you then. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and I will see you a little bit later. to the library. I'll pop you down. And I thought I would explain probably why you just saw the library being really empty. Basically, my library, before it had its revamp, was open Monday, Tuesday and Friday 9 till 5:30, and on Saturdays 9 till 1. And since it's had its revamp, it's now done extended access alongside the remaining North Somerset libraries who've already done it. And basically it means the library is now open Monday to Sunday, 8 AM to 8 PM. On the days that the library is usually open, so Monday, Tuesday, Friday, so from 9 to 5:30 is when there is staff and all that. But then all of the other days, and like the 8 AM and the 8 PM side of things, the library is open, but there's no staff or anything. And to be able to use the extended access, you have to have training. So I actually had booked my training like October-wise, but COVID hit, so I had to cancel it. And then I had to cancel it again because I still had COVID, and then I had to cancel it the third time because Alice was poorly and I couldn't go. So I finally managed to do my extended access like the beginning of November. And I was so excited. I did the training. I learned how to do things, where the exits and all that. I was really excited because I was like, this is perfect for me to like go to the library whenever I need to get a book rather than having to wait. And also if I want to do studying, I can use it. And also, without no disrespect, but you can use someone else's electric, someone else's heating and stuff like that. So I was really excited. But when I did my extended access training, they actually told us that we can't actually use the library for the extended access times because the CCTV wasn't working and they wouldn't let anyone in until it's working. So I was really bummed. But about two and a half weeks ago, I got an email to say that we can finally use it and all that. So I actually came, I think, possibly last week, or maybe the couple of days after I got the email. I can't remember. I came either last week or the week before, just to basically return some books and pick up a book. And it was so dead. There was no one here apart from one person that was on the computers, and I absolutely loved it. I thought, oh, this is brilliant. And I just come in today and thought that there might be one person or a lot, and it's absolutely no one. It's just me, like literally. Let me turn you around to where I am. So I'm in like the non-fiction section, which is where all of the computers and that are. So there's no one here. And then if I go to like the actual main fiction section and all that, there's absolutely no one there. There's no one in the kids bit there. It's empty. So I love it. I've got this whole place to myself. It means I can actually vlog without feeling embarrassed that people might see me doing stuff. So yeah, so this is my little Christmas tree. I set up everything and I'm going to just return my books and have a browse at the books and then get working. But yeah, I just thought I would tell you why it's empty and all of that, but it's so cool. I love it. Absolutely love it. went back, I did some studying, I got some books, and I ended up actually having a good hour chat with a random bloke. So it was absolutely dead at the library, it was just me. But as I got up to stretch my legs, because I was getting a bit of a bad back, and so I was looking at the books in the kids section. And while I was doing that, I did hear someone come in, but I didn't see anyone, so I assumed they came in and left. But what I didn't know until I went and sat down was that actually a bloke came to the computer bits. Anyway, when I went and sat back down to carry on doing my work, he was on the phone. Basically, he was on the phone talking to some mobile company. But anyway, once he finished, so he was on there for like a good hour or so, but once he finished, he turned around and apologised to me because he said, "Oh, it was probably really loud, sorry, you're doing your work." And I said, "Oh no, it's fine, like I was sort of in my zone anyway." But anyway, we ended up getting talking because basically he's being charged for 2 phones, so I just said to him to cancel a direct debit and pay when he is able to pay, sort of thing. And then we just ended up chatting for like a good hour about things and stuff, and like he's not from here, he lives in Manchester, he does van life and things like that. It was a right odd conversation, and then I saw the time and I thought I best go because I'm starving. I did actually head to the coffee shop. Embarrassing moment there. I went and bought a massive mince pie and a coffee, but my card got declined, so I went outside because I didn't have any Wi-Fi. I hadn't clicked on the Wi-Fi yet to see like where the money went, because I had £10 and my I don't know whether it was Audible or Prime, one of those bills came out, so I had like £2, so I was like, oh, so I ended up getting a sausage roll. So we didn't do the coffee shop in the end, but never mind. But I'm back home now. I am going to make my own coffee, and I think I'm going to get something else to eat because I'm still quite hungry. And I think I might pick up one of the books that I just got from the library. I just don't know which one yet. So I'm going to have a look, see which book is calling out to me, and then I might start reading some of that while I wait to get Alice from school. So yeah, that's that. I'll check in later on, or if not, I'll talk to you tomorrow or something, but I probably will talk to you when I decide on what book. Good morning, my loves. It's been a bit of a chilled nothing morning, I won't lie. I woke up with a bit of a tummy ache, and it was one of those tummy aches where I can't really do anything, so I just stayed in bed. I watched some YouTube and I scrolled through TikTok, which passed a good 2 hours. Wasn't planning to do that, but hey ho. And I just got ready, and now I'm just going to head down and make myself a drink and something to eat. And then I am going to start some Christmas wrapping since I'm home alone. My mum and dad are out. My mum is going to be back soon though, so I think I'm going to do my mum's first, so that when she comes back, she's done. And my dad's not going to be back till the evening, so I'm not bothered. But that is the plan. But before I do any of that, I wanted to talk to you about this book, The Deal of a Lifetime by Frederick Backman. So I think everyone knows who this author is. He's very known for A Man Called Ove, Beartown, things like that. Now, I've read a couple of books by Frederick Backman, and some have been hits, some have been misses. Beartown, I tried about 3 times, and I just couldn't get into it. I'm not sure whether it's just because of the topics there is, and it's one of those books that makes you quite angry. But I read this. It's like, well, just under 100 pages, I think. Or it might be even less. I can't remember. How many is there? Might be even less than that. 2 seconds. Oh no, I lie. 65 pages. Short but sweet. But I read it and I loved it. It was just a really different story about Christmas, but a lovely one nevertheless. So it's basically Christmas Eve, and a father and son are meeting for the first time in years. And before everything's too late, his father wants to share a story to his son. And so basically, that's sort of what's happening, but it's just sort of going on what's happening. Basically, the night before Christmas, basically, backstory: the father's got cancer, and he's in hospital having treatment, and there's a little girl there who's also got cancer, but a different type of cancer. And he sort of, for the first time ever, feels like quite emotional. He feels really bad for this little girl, and like, you know, all of that. And basically, there's this woman who's all in grey, and he sees her everywhere, and the little girl can see him, so he knows he's not going mad. But basically, this lady who's all in grey, she's not deaf, but she is the sort of person who ferries you to wherever you're going to go, you know, heaven, hell, whatever you sort of believe. And he thinks she's coming for him because he constantly sees her and all that, but actually she isn't. She's there. She's sort of actually grown attached to this dad, and she says she's not meant to have favourites and all that, but she sort of watches over him. She's not meant to, but it's happened. But actually, she's there for the little girl. So the little girl, we don't know too much. We just know, I think she's got leukemia. I'm not 100% sure if it did say what cancer, but what we know is that she's like about 5, 6, and we know she's going under for some type of operation. And from what I'm gathering, more than likely she would have died in the operating theatre. Anyway, the father, this man, he was like, no, you can take me. Like, I'm ready. That's fine. I don't want to die, but I'd rather you take me than a little girl who's not lived her life and all that. And basically, to prevent someone from dying and being ferried to wherever you're designed to go, it's not like it's a life for a life, but not as in she takes his life. What she means is that you were never existed. You were never existed. No one knows who you are. Everything that you've done in life will be given to someone else. So it will all happen, but it will be a complete different person. No one will know who you are. And so she obviously says, like, you know, if you're going to do that, then I need to show you all of this. So, like, she obviously goes through, like, his life, and, like, she brings him to see his son, who he hasn't seen, and he's not been the best father. So basically, this father, he's, you don't actually know what he does job-wise, but you just know he is very, very rich. He's very, very work-focused, very selfish, and doesn't care for anyone else. Like, he's not with, you know, he was married, and then that ended. He didn't even notice that his wife had left him for 2 days. That's, like, how self-centered and all that. He hasn't got any relationship with his son. Like, his son is very much, like, you know, quite happy with just a mediocre life, whereas his father's like, you know, no, you need to have all this money, you need to be your name, blah blah blah. So he doesn't actually, he's got the money, he's got the wealth, he's got the power, but he hasn't, you know, he hasn't got family, he hasn't got friends or anything like that. And so basically this grey woman takes him to see his son and all of that. and it's sort of like one last time, and she says like, if this is what you want, you know, then fine. And she goes, and she explained, so basically he made this business, he did all these things, like places, I think he made places, he made a lot of money. So when he swaps his life for this little girl's, you know, it's going to be someone else who's done it, someone else who's done all this, someone else will be his son's father, his wife's husband, you know, so he is literally wiped out for the world. He agrees to it, and he does it for the girl to live a full life until, you know, she's old age, ready to die. And that was what it basically was. And I just thought, oh my goodness, like in the end, regardless of what he is, like he was very, you know, he pretty much was just like, he had no heart. But right at the end, he ended up getting a heart, because he was like, no, this little girl can't, you know, why should I live and not her? And it was just a wonderful self-sacrifice. And it was just like, I suppose, it was quite a sad and emotional and dark topic for Christmas. But it was just, it was nice. It's how it was done. It was done really nicely. You would have seen, like, there's lots of like little photos that go alongside the story, and it was really, it was quite sad. I didn't cry. It didn't make me cry like A Man Called Ove. That made me cry like my heart out. But it gave me a little bit of a lump in the throat, and it just made me think, oh, and everything. But there was this little quote, and it really stuck, and this is what sort of gave me a little bit of a throat bob. Basically, like, the man is talking to the woman for the first time, and he's like, why did you take my brother away? Like, why did you take my dad, my mum? Like, basically, he lost all of his family. So I think losing his family quite young made him sort of, in some sense, not have any emotion to anyone, because he lost everyone and he didn't want that to happen again. I think that personally might have been what made him how he was. And he went like, why did you take him? Why do you take everyone I love? And the woman went, it's not down to us who goes and who stays. And I was just like, oh, that is so true, because it is like, you don't get a choice really, in some sense, do you? You live your life to how you have, and whether it's going to be a long life or a short life, you don't know. Like, it is just leading to sort of fate and all of that. And it just gave me like a lump in my throat. I thought, oh, but yeah, like a short 65-page book, but it was jammed packed with emotion, and I really enjoyed it. And actually, this book, I was looking at like everyone else's reviews, it's not a very loved book. A lot of people have given it 3 stars, some have given it 2, there were a few 1s, but there weren't very many like 5 or 4 stars, and I was quite shocked. I thought, actually, for what this topic is about, I think it's really good and quite emotional, but each their own. But yeah, I read that and I really enjoyed it. I haven't quite decided what I want to read next. I don't know. Like, I'm in between wanting to read a thriller and just wanting to read a romance. I think I might go for a romance, because I can read that quite quickly, and I do have a busy weekend. But my first point of call at the moment is just to grab some food and to start wrapping up presents. So we'll do that, and then we'll focus on what to read after that's done. But yeah, I thought I'd just check in and tell you about that book. And yeah, I'm going to now go and grab some food and make a coffee, so I will catch up later. I had a very chilled morning. I did a school run, and then I came back home and had a 2-hour nap because I was tired. that was, yeah. Yeah, we'll ignore that. I just wanted to pop on. I started reading A Town Called Christmas by Holly Martin last night. I am halfway through. I'm on page 145, chapter 12. and I thought I would talk a little bit about it because it's really good. It's the only way I can describe this book is like a Hallmark Christmas rom-com. It's your typical like Christmas movie that you get a Hallmark or My5 or, you know, really random ones that are on Netflix, stuff like that. It's one of those ones where it's like, you're like, ooh, but also at the same time you sort of want to knock the characters' heads together as well. But it's quite funny. The synopsis in this book actually isn't completely correct to what the story is about. So the synopsis, basically, all we sort of see is that we're just following one character called Neve, who is a manager at the Stardust Lake Hotel, which is a family hotel that all of her family, her brothers and all that, sort of run. And basically it's Christmas and she's miserable because she broke up with her boyfriend, who's just like finally got noticed into acting, has been made a big, he's like sort of been given a big acting role, and so she basically dumped him because she thinks if they stay together she'll be holding him back and stuff like that. She also doesn't want to be resented, so she breaks up with him, and he comes back for Christmas, and so it's sort of very awkward. That's what the synopsis says. And I kind of thought that Neve and her ex-boyfriend Oakley have been separated for a few months or like that, just because of the way it said. But actually it's only been 9 weeks, so they've been separated for 9 weeks. When they were together he promised he would be back for Christmas, and he kept that promise, hence why he's back. And he pretty much is, I'm not keen on Oakley, let's just say that. He pretty much has come back and pretty much just thinks that Neve's gonna take him back and they can live happily ever after. But Neve's very much, she's been through this before. She had an Olympic athlete, her ex-boyfriend was that, and basically the distance was quite a distance, and he ended up cheating on her while they were together, and she doesn't sort of want that to happen again. So that's why she sort of was like, you know, we can't be together, you live your life and all that. But anyway, he's down for Christmas, he's acting like everything's normal, but she's got a little secret. So she's actually pregnant. I kind of clocked that she was going to be pregnant. It kind of made sense from the fact that she was crying over nothing, she was sick constantly. I was like, yeah, she's pregnant. But she didn't want to tell Oakley for numerous reasons. One, he's like the other side of the world, he's in California, like, you know, how is it going to work? Two, she knew for well he'd probably drop everything, and she didn't want that. And three, he has constantly said in their relationship that kids were like 10 years away. Now, what I didn't know until later on in this book, that actually there is an age difference. So she's in, like, I think she's 31, 32. I think she's near my age. I'm 32 this year. And he's in, I think he's 26 or something. So, like, for him, like, 10 years is fine. But for her, 10 years, she's going to be in her late 40s. It's, you know, it's more of a risk to have babies. So she's very much like, you know, she wants to settle down and all that, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so he's come back. She's basically said, look, let's be friends. Let's just be friends like what we were before, because we were good as friends. And let's just discuss how we could possibly make it work. Obviously, that didn't happen. Obviously, you know, it's only been 9 weeks. It's very hard to get over someone in 9 weeks, especially when you've been together for a while. And they've got a big connection. They're both in love. Anyway, obviously they act sort of back like they're in a relationship, like back to what they once were. And Oakley proposes to her on Christmas Day, and she was like completely shocked, because he literally the night before was saying that, you know, he wants to get married to her and have kids, but later down the line, blah blah blah. He told, and on the same line when he proposed to her, he also said, look, I've bought us a house in California. It's got like a massive big acre of land, like loads of land, because her dream job, Neve's dream job, is to teach disabled children to ride horses. And so he's given her that, and she's basically like, she hasn't said anything, but in like, you've got like her in a dialogue, and she's like, you're asking me to leave my family, my friends, and go to some other country that I don't know anyone, and to do my dream job that, you know, fair enough, it's a dream job, but she doesn't know anyone. And that's why I don't like Oakley, because I think he's quite selfish. I think he only, I'm not saying he doesn't love Neve, he does, and I do think them as a couple work, but I think he's very much, he's got everything he wants, and he expects Neve to just drop everything and go and live with him, when actually she's very much family orientated. She's close to her family, she's made friends, she's actually quite happy in her job, even if it's not a dream job, and he's not thinking that, so I'm not keen on that. But she basically answered back to him to say she's pregnant, and he literally had the face of fuck. And so then she turns around and said, it's not yours. And then he obviously wanted to know who it was, so she made the first person's name, which was Adam. Now Adam is another character in this book, which I didn't realise. From the synopsis, it just sounded like it was Neve's perspective and that's it, but it's actually Neve, Oakley, Adam and Ivy. So Adam actually is good friends with Neve. They've been in like the hotel industry and they've been friends for like 8 years. Literally just friends, there's nothing more. She chose Adam because that's only the first person's name she came, and also because she knows Oakley doesn't like Adam, purely because he doesn't understand that they can just be friends. Along the same time, we've got Adam's perspective. So basically, he is currently helping out as a deputy manager at this Stardust Lake Hotel because it's just opened up and stuff like that. So he's there for 3 months before he goes back to his job in London. And basically, he got called out to find a local who had gone missing. And obviously, it's in Scotland. It's really snowy. They're worried that something might have happened. So he's looking for someone called Ivy. And he assumed that this Ivy person was like an older, more elderly person because of the name. So he found someone underneath a horse with this person and the horse was stuck. He believed that this was someone else because it was a young person, not who he assumed was Ivy. But then the young person turned around and said, I am Ivy. She goes, just because my name's elderly. And she says, that's why I like to go by storm. So she's very snarky and all of that. So anyway, he goes and tries and helps her, but he gets stuck in a ditch too. She's freezing cold, so he warms her up. And there's like an instant connection, an instant spark between them. She manages to get out of the ditch and all of that. And basically the pair of them really like each other. They just clicked. There's instant connection. But Adam's quite worried purely because he's leaving in 3 months' time and like he doesn't really want to start something because that's not fair. And Ivy, her background is she was married for 5 years. She had a messy divorce. In those 5 years of her marriage, her husband was probably more than likely cheating. Also, they were trying for a baby and it wasn't happening. So the husband basically asked for divorce because she wasn't giving him a son. And so he literally, it was a quick divorce. She was left with hardly anything. He's moved on with someone who she assumes that there wasn't an affair beforehand. She's now pregnant and they're getting married soon. So she basically is hard in the heart. She doesn't want anything to do with men. She's like, nope. And also she doesn't want to be in a relationship where it comes to the point that she says she can't have children and then basically be heartbroken because blah, blah, blah. I believe that there isn't, like she said in this book that there's nothing wrong with her. Like there's nothing physically wrong. But they even tried IVF, but it's just not happening. I personally think it's very much wrong person, all that kind of thing. So basically, Adam and Ivy have sort of decided to have a little bit of a casual romance, but they both admitted that actually this is nothing casual. This is actually very full on. And Adam turned around and says that actually I want to stay here, and because at the same time we just found out that Neve fell down the stairs. She was rushed on the air ambulance to a hospital on the other side of Scotland because they're like in a really remote Scotland area. Found out that she's 3 months in and she's having a little boy. It's obviously Oakley's, but blah blah blah. And so Adam obviously knows that Neve said this line. He's basically going along with it because he knows that Neve wouldn't say something like that unless necessary. So like he's waiting to talk to her, but he's basically turned around to Ivy and said, look, I've been told to now take over Neve's role until after the new year because she has to rest. Excuse me. And so he's going to talk to Gay, which is Neve's brother, and ask whether he can make a more permanent role into the manager's role and share it with Neve. And obviously at some point Neve's going to be on maternity leave, so they're going to need a manager. So he said that he wants to stay. Him and Ivy have sort of decided to make things a go. And so that's what's going on. It's really cute. And like I said, I'm not keen on Oakley's character. Like, I do ship the romance. Like, these two characters, Neve and Oakley, do deserve to be together. I just don't like how Oakley is very much, it's not a compromise. It's very much, oh, you're going to come and move with me, rather than, like, make a compromise in some sense. To me, he's quite selfish. Adam, Ivy, shipping. I really hope it goes well with them too, because I just think it's just lovely and all that. But yeah, it's just one of those cute fluffy reads, very easy to read, and yeah, I just had the best time reading this last night and I couldn't put it down. So that's what I'm reading. Hopefully I will finish it today. However, today and tomorrow is quite a busy day. Well, sort of. Today after school, my daughter's school is doing a Christmas fair, and they've got like stalls and also Santa's there, so Alice is booked in to see Santa at 5:20. But also my daughter's in choir, and the school choir is actually doing a performance at the hall, so I'm going to obviously watch that. And the Christmas fair's from like 5 to 7, so I don't know whether we're going to stay for all that time or whether we'll leave once she's done her singing. I'm not sure yet. So we're going to go do that after school. We're going to pick her up from school and go home, have a snack, and then probably head back out. And then tomorrow, so I can't remember what it's called, but we have like a little sort of place where there's drama, dancing and singing, and it's for like young kids, young teenage kids, and like adults even as well. And they do performances here and there, like every couple of months and stuff. They've always just like performances, and my mum's watched I think one performance with them. I can't remember what it was, or it was a friend, but this is the first time I'm watching a performance. But they are doing a performance of Elf from the movie Elf, but they're doing a proper musical, so I think there's going to be some songs and like songs they made up. But me and my mum said we wanted to watch it, and we were thinking but it was on the days that Alice was home, so we're like, okay, like, unless Alice, because Alice is very much, she won't watch movies, she's very much doesn't like things like that. But I mentioned to her and just said that it's not a movie, it's kids singing, and one of the kids there is actually someone she knows. It's like a school friend's brother, and she knows him, so he's there singing, and she was really up for it. So we're all going to watch it tomorrow. It's only for an hour, and it's just a musical. It's just them singing, nothing else. But yeah, so we're gonna do that tomorrow, and then Sunday is pretty much just gonna be a chilled one. But yeah, so a bit busy one this evening, and tomorrow is gonna be fun. And we're also gonna pop and drop off Alice's Christmas letter for Santa, and yeah, so that's what's happening the next 2 days. So I'm now going to go and read a bit more of this, and that's pretty much it until later on this evening. So I will try and take you along with me. I don't know how much I will, because obviously it's school, it's children. I don't mind my daughter being on camera, but obviously there's other kids there, so I'll see how much I can do. But yeah, I'm excited, and tomorrow is going to be amazing too, so I will try and document some of that too. But for now, I'll check it later. Excuse the mess, I'm just about to go ahead and have a shower. I also have really sore lips today. I was up most of the night itching. I have like a liver problem, and I get really itchy all over, like every once a month, twice a month sometimes. I also think it might be linked to my period, because I'm due one soon as well, and this is the second month where I've been itchy like a week before I'm due on, so I'm wondering whether it's linked to that. But anyway, you don't really need to know about that. But my lips are really sore because I literally was itching my lips as well, like rubbing it all around, and I just made it really sore. And yeah, so today's the day that we're watching Elf the Musical. It starts at 11:30, so we got to leave here at 11 because we got to walk up a hill, because it's in Princess Hall, which is up right on a hill, which is going to be fun. But I wanted to pop it on because I finished A Town Called Christmas last night. It actually has a different name, which I was shocked. So on Amazon, and on Goodreads, it actually has different names. So I don't know whether it got republished or what. I don't know. But I read this. I've given it 3 stars purely because of Neve and Oakley's relationship. Because my God, like eventually Neve told Oakley that the baby was his. She explained the reason behind everything, and it made sense. You know, she did it not selfishly or anything. She did it because she wanted him to have the best life and everything. And he was horrible, and he was horrible for a while, and then finally he was like, you know, finally he forgave her and everything like that, and then he decided that they were going to get married then and there, and I was just like, I don't like this. Like, it was just, to me, it was everything he wanted and not what she wanted. There was no compromise and all of that. Adam and Ivy I loved. They had a little moment purely because there was a misunderstanding. So you didn't really know what was going on with Adam until the end, but you know that he had quite a nasty breakup himself, and basically his ex-girlfriend fell pregnant, but she miscarried. But the night before the miscarriage they had sex, so she blamed him, saying, you know, if we didn't do that and all that. But you know, when he saw doctors and stuff and all of that, it wasn't that, you know, sex can actually really help and all that. So at the end of the day, he knew it wasn't his fault, but he felt guilty. You know, she left him and all. He left her actually, but Ivy took it the wrong way. She thought that he left his girlfriend because she lost the baby, and that wasn't the case. And obviously, because she can't have babies, but they ended up chatting, and he obviously explained, and she explained what went on with him, and he was amazing. What he said, he basically was like, you know, you know, we'll try everything. If it doesn't work, we'll try IVF. If that doesn't work, there are so many kids who have no families and need to be adopted. We can go that route, or if we don't want to go that route, it's like, you know, then we can adopt loads and loads of puppies and stuff like that. And then for a Christmas gift, he bought her a puppy to say, to try and everything. And in the like epilogue, she was actually pregnant, so obviously, you know, it was just the wrong person kind of thing. So I really shipped their relationship. But for me and even Oakley, their relationship was nice. Like, they do deserve each other. Oakley as a character I thought was very selfish, considering everything Neve did was for him to have the career he wants, the life that he wants and all that. And even at the end, to me, it just felt like, you know, she did everything he wanted, but not like what she wanted. You know, she ended up moving to California with him, and like coming back down now and then to Juniper Island in Scotland. I just thought, for me, I just felt actually, you know, he's got everything he wants. He's got the girl, he's got the kid, and she's there. And I just felt like, why can't there be a compromise? Like, why can't? So I wasn't keen on them. So that's why I gave it 3 stars, purely because, you know, primarily the story does follow Neve and Oakley, and I didn't particularly, yeah. There was a big, massive bit here, where is that? Adam had a like right heart to heart with Oakley, but I won't read it out because it's quite long. I was going to read it out, but it's quite long and I've got things to do. But yeah, I gave this 3 out of 5 stars. And I did pick up a book on my Kindle last night just because I was in the mood to carry on reading and I didn't know what to read. So I had a look at my Kindle and I thought, oh, I fancy that. So I'm actually reading Window Shopping by Tessa Bailey. Very, very popular author. This is like the most loved TikTok book from like last Christmas. Like, I'm all of Christmas before, I don't know when like it came out, but like I'm very late behind on it. But it was on 99p on Kindle, so I ended up getting it because I wanted to read it for a while, and I love it already. I absolutely love it already. It's very steamy, which I wasn't expecting, because the cover of it just looks so innocent, but it's just already steamy and nothing's really actually happened. And yeah, I'm loving it. I love the fact that actually our main character has a criminal record, that she was in prison for 4 years for like armed robbery. I kind of feel like it wasn't like her fault sort of thing. By the sounds of it, it sounds like this friend of hers is a troublemaker and she's participated because it's the only friend she has, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. But I like the fact that she has a criminal record, that Aidan, the man who runs this shop, actually has given her a chance to dress the window and stuff like that. And I just think, oh, and yeah, like, I think I can see where everything's going to go. Like, you always get a bit where it all goes to pot and then it goes happy ever after. I kind of can feel like I know what's going to happen. But I'm already vibing with the characters, that are all like flirting they do, and it's really good. I love the fact that it's dressing a window. I always wanted to do that when I used to work for Next. I worked for Next for like 4 years, I think it was. Yeah, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, 4 years before our shop went bust. But I always wanted to dress up the mannequins and stuff like that and be a personal shopper and things like that. Like, I really loved doing that. It was something I wanted to do, and occasionally I helped. So reading that, I was like, oh, I remember how much I loved that. And it's just, yeah, it just sort of resonates with me a little bit as well. And so yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying that. And so that's what I have decided to continue reading, but it's on my Kindle, but never mind. But yeah, now I'm going to go and just have a shower and get ready. Obviously going to watch Elf. I will show you what I'm wearing. Hang on. Got my elf jumper. So it says, oh my god, Santa's coming. I know him. That's what I'm wearing. But I'm now going to go and get ready. And I will try and vlog if I can of it. But obviously it's kids singing, so I don't think I can. But I'll see if I can do anything. But yeah, I'm very excited, and Alice is too. So I'm going to go get ready now. It was fantastic, honestly, brilliant, considering it's just, you know, children from young as 8 to like teenagers. It was brilliant. It was such an amazing performance, and it was just wonderful. Like, they obviously followed on from, like, you know, the story and the movie, but obviously it was more of a musical rather than actually just acting. And it was just wonderful. All of the kids, even the kids that didn't have big parts, but all of the kids did it 100%. Like, it wasn't half-assed or anything. They put all 100% effort in it. It was fantastic. The songs were so good. They're singing, like, honestly, brilliant. The teenager, like, I don't really know how old he was, but the person who played Buddy the elf, he was fantastic. Like, obviously Buddy as a character is very flamboyant, very over the top, very exciting stuff. So obviously the person who plays Buddy will have to be like that. But he was fantastic. His singing voice, his performance, his dancing, brilliant. And he reminded me, he looked like Charlie from Heartstopper in a Netflix adaptation. He looked like Charlie. Like, I said to my mum, oh my god, it's a Charlie lookalike. It was wonderful. The songs were so catchy. Like, me and Alice were walking home, like, literally humming this song, like, pretty much just one word, but you know. But oh, it was absolutely brilliant. And I didn't know, but one of the school mums, she actually choreographed it all. So her son, so it's Alice's school friend's brother. We knew he was in the performance. We didn't know what he was doing, but we knew he was in it. It wasn't the reason why I wanted to watch it. But, you know, it was nice that we knew someone. But we didn't actually know she actually choreographed it. It's only when we got the actual, whatever they're called, brochure, planner, well, I can't remember what they're called now, that he said, and I was just like, oh, so I'm going to message her in a minute and just say, well, you kept that quiet. But it was brilliant from start to finish. And Alice doesn't like anything. She does not watch movies. The only movies she watches is some of the Winnie the Pooh movies on Disney. She used to watch constantly this movie called Ballerina on Netflix, which we ended up with the DVD on, but she hasn't watched that for a while because she said, I don't like it anymore. But she watched that. She won't even watch the Paw Patrol movies. We watched Paw Patrol Mighty Pups once when we went camping, and she was scared, absolutely scared, cried and everything. We never watched it again. She won't let us watch the new Paw Patrol movie one that was out in the cinema. Like, I even offered to take her to the cinema to watch it. No. The only time she ever went to the cinema was in 2019. Yeah, it was Christmas 2019, and we watched Bing, and it was just me and her, and she, you know, she loves Bing. But no, it wasn't scary. She just didn't like how dark it was, and it was very loud, so never again. So she is not a movie person, not even like Disney kids movies that, you know, she would like, nothing. So when we mentioned about Elf, we honestly thought she wasn't gonna bother. But then, like we said, you know, it's just children, it is children performing, and we said that one of her school friends' brothers going to be in it, who she knew. And so she said yes, she wanted to go, and she was a little bit nervous, but when we got there, no, not kidding, she was smiling like a full-blown Cheshire cat grin from start to finish. She loved it. She was happy. She had popcorn, she had chocolate, she was in her element. She absolutely loved it. She was sitting on my lap, and then this lady in front of us with her child ended up sitting in front of me, so neither me and Alice could see. So she ended up sitting on my mum, on her nan, because there was no one in front of her, and I'd rather Alice get to see it more than me. Like, I managed to see it once, like, everyone was up. You know, I had to go like that a couple of times. But no, she loved it, and she said she wants to watch it again, but obviously, you know, there's no more tickets left. But we did say to her, all next year, if there's anything on, might not be Elf, but would she watch it? She goes, if it's children performing, yes. So it might be a thing now, and I think you're certainly going to say that musicals might be Alice's thing, but even the, not just the performance, but the production itself, like all of the props, all of the backgrounds, like, they must have done it all themselves. It was wonderful. You would have hopefully seen a little bit of a B-roll, but I couldn't obviously show the actual performance itself, but like, they had all of the skyscrapers in New York, you know, they had like the office props, the house props. It was, you know, they made it themselves, they made it up, they painted it and all that, but it was fantastic. Honestly, 10 out of 10, brilliant. I'm so glad Alice enjoyed it. It was fantastic, and yeah, I'm glad we've gone. And I said to Mum, I think it's going to be like a regular thing to try and do if there are performances like that, like, even not even at Christmas, but like any time during the year. So yeah, it was fantastic. Made me feel really, really like Christmassy. I had my Elf, and this saying even was said, which I'm very happy. And it wasn't just me. Like, there was a lot of people who had Christmas jumpers, so I'm not particularly Elf ones, but I was like, well, I'm glad it's not me. But yeah, 10 out of 10 performance was brilliant. And then after we did that, we quickly popped to drop Alice's Christmas Santa letter, her Christmas list. So one of the shops, it's like a stationery shop, they actually have like their own Santa post box, and they themselves are posting it, and then Santa will write back, instead of like I think it's still through Royal Mail and all that, but I don't know, it was just they would do the thing, so we ended up doing that rather than posting it through like a normal letterbox and all that. I think they were doing their own sort of reply back sort of thing. So we just did that, and then we just grabbed some. I got a cheese and bacon turnover, and Alice got a gingerbread man, or a snowman actually, from the bakery. So we just ate that, and yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do now. Probably just gonna chill. I think I'm gonna continue reading window shopping. But yeah, it was honestly such a good performance, like brilliant. If you have local like drama theatre sort of things and you have kids that are doing performance, I recommend you going to watch it, because it's just something about it. It's just how much effort they put in it. It really pays off. It was so good. But yeah, so I'm just now going to chill and just read, and that's pretty much it for today. So yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed myself.
Wow. Look at that one. Woo! Wow.
Evening, my loves. Excuse the state of me. My lips are awful. This is what happens when you itch yourself crazy and your lips are sore and you wreck your lips. Literally, I've like peeled all my skin off there. It looks like I got cold sores. I haven't. But I'm hoping the lip sore that my mum's given me is going to help, because I cannot have my lips looking like this for my birthday and Christmas. I'm just saying, I don't care about the spots. I care about these lips that look like I got cold sores. I can assure you they aren't. I literally have just itched and pulled my skin off. But moving on from that, I've done nothing today. I haven't vlogged anything today. I'm sorry, but it's been one of those do nothing kind of Sundays. My dad was upstairs sleeping. My mum was watching a Christmas movie and promptly fallen asleep through it. I was reading. Alice was watching YouTube and playing. Pretty much what our Sundays are like in this household. But I finished Window Shopping by Tessa Bailey last night, and oh my god, 5 stars. Now here's the thing: if you aren't into books that have quite a bit of sex in, like pretty much the whole book has sex in, this isn't one for you. Admittedly, the cover of the book doesn't suggest that this is going to be a sexy, steamy book. It is. So if you're not into that kind of stuff, it's not your book. But I'd probably say before you read it, read reviews, because, you know, I knew it was a sexy, steamy book because it's all over TikTok and everything. I knew about it, and knowing what Tessa Bailey's books are like, I kind of expected it. But I was not expecting to feel hot under the collar from start to finish. This book, primarily, it isn't actually these characters having sex. It is literally them like fantasizing about one another before any of that happens. And I'm just there thinking, this is what they're imagining. Like, what is it going to be like when the deed is done? And when the deed is done, my word, it's like tenfold. This is a steamy book. It's literally pretty much about this intense feeling Aiden and Stella have for one another. We've got a slight background of her dressing up this shop for Vivian at this like window shop. She gets a job and all of that. And we also had like a background bit of her being in prison and the reason behind it. But there isn't really much plot or anything. It's literally just about these characters who really like each other, and they, you know. But if you're like me and you like your steamy books, you don't care. Like, is it the best type of writing and everything? No, there is very little plot. It's just to do about these characters having the hots for one another. There is like a tiny backdrop of winter. Like, I wouldn't even say it was a full-blown Christmassy book. Like, it is set 2 weeks before Christmas. Like, you know, she's decorating a Christmas sort of thing. They're talking about Christmas shopping, but in some, it wasn't like a fully Christmassy like the current book I'm reading. but still, it was a fun ride. I could not fault the pair of them. I really liked one another. I liked Aiden, and some of the things he said, I had to highlight a lot of his stuff. I just thought, oh, I want you. If you're interested in just smutty romances where you don't have to think much and you're in the mood for a fun time, this one's for you. If you're someone who likes to have character building, plot building, all of that, not for you. But I had the best time. 5 stars. Single old me was thriving. That's all I can say. And literally I finished that last night, and I ended up deciding to start another book on my Kindle because I was like, I'm here, why not? And I picked The Plight Before Christmas by Kate Stewart. Kate, is it Kate? It's like Kate with 2 E's. I don't know if it's Katie or Kate. But she's the one who does, like, she's done the series Flock, which I have on my Kindle but I've not read. This is actually the first book I think I've read, unless she's the one who's done, is she the one who's also done the Neon Gods? Is that her as well? I can't remember now. I know she's done Flock because it was on my Kindle, but I haven't read it yet. Whatever. But I'm currently reading that, and I am absolutely loving it. It is literally Christmas at her grandparents' like cabin, the whole family there. I mean, it's her mum and dad. It's her older sister with her husband and their 2 kids. It's her brother with his wife and their 2 kids. And then it's our main character, which I've for the life of me forgotten her name now, so I'm going to find out for you. And then it's the single I've forgotten her name now, which is annoying me. So we got Eli, which I'll get to in a minute. Whitney. Okay, so Whitney is the other sister who is very, very single. She thought she was going to get this promotion with her job. It didn't. It went for this man, and the only reason why he got the promotion was primarily because he's pretty much best friends with the boss. They go drinking together, they go golf together. That was the only reason. It wasn't because he worked hard. It's literally just because he's best mates with the boss, and it's sexism and everything like that. So she's done in the dubs because she didn't get the promotion. Her car's just completely given up, steamed up, and now she needs to get a new car with very little money. And she is extremely single, like, she's like getting on in age, and she's like, she's got come to terms that she's probably never going to get married. She's never going to have kids because she's near the age of 14, all of that. Anyway, she's there to pretty much just drown her sorrows with her family at their, like, her grandparents' cabin. It is done up Christmassy. Oh my god, it's fantastic. And her brother basically turns around and says, oh, I'm bringing a work colleague who's also just to come as a friend to Christmas because he's all alone. And like, she doesn't know who it is. She opens the door, and it turns out this work colleague is Eli, who is her first ever true love, and he broke her heart. Like, first ever true love, first ever broken heart, and she never really got over him, and pretty much no bloke she's been with since matched to Eli. And so he's there, and she's like, what the hell? And obviously the family kind of, like, the sister realised who he was, and like the parents sort of realised that, oh, this is the ex-boyfriend, and like, oh, okay. But the brother was like, oh, I didn't realise, he never said anything. But Eli's there for a ulterior motive. Basically, he realised when he took the job, when he was getting used to Whitney's brother, which I've forgotten his name. I can't remember what his name is now. I don't think it's Brandon. Is it Brendan? I don't know. But he's basically got an ulterior motive because he saw, like, a family photo, saw that this was Whitney's brother, and he was like, I need to see her, because for the whole 20 years of them not seeing each other, he's not once ever forgotten about her and all that. And basically, he's there to win her back by the sounds of it, or to apologise or something. I'm not sure. There's an ulterior motive. But the pair of them, like, nothing's actually happened, but the pair of them, like, it's an enemies to lovers moment at the moment. Like, she absolutely despises him in some sense because, like, he hurt her, and, like, she's never really moved on from it. And she's also like, you know, I want to just be depressed and drown my sorrows, and now Christmas is getting a bit more fun because, you know, he's there. He's absolutely handsome. He's not changed and all that. It's very much like she's trying her hardest not to like him and all that, but, like, that's not happening. And yeah, and they're getting flashbacks, which I like about this book. They're getting flashbacks from their relationships. You're actually seeing how they got together, and I'm guessing the whole why it broke up. But Eli is got no family, so from the little bits I've got, I think Eli got quite jealous of how close Whitney was with his family, because it was still fresh from him losing his family. Like, he was still grieving and he couldn't really share his emotions. So I'm wondering whether that was what probably made the breakup. I don't know, but I'm loving it. Not because of that, but I'm loving the family, because their family dynamic, it is me and my family to a T. I have howled out in laughter because some of the things that have happened, some of the things that the kids have done, I'm there thinking, oh my god, this is me and my family. Like, just the humour, the quirks, the random stuff the kids done, that Alice has done, and I just love it. This is my best book of Christmas reads for this month so far. I'm not even, like, where am I? I'm chapter 23. I'm page 200 on, and I'm 55% in the book. It's apparently page 356 pages it is, so I'm like just over halfway. And like, I love, so Whitney, I don't know if you can see, has these elf shoes, and let me try and get to Eli quickly. No, but oh my god, where's Eli? Eli has a miserable gingerbread man, but I love the little like pictures that are on each chapter, and it's just quite cute. But I love this book. It's 5 stars already, and it's the humour, it's the family dynamics. It is so Christmassy, from like the decorations to the snow to the movies. I love it. But what I also love is like Whitney's older sister Serena. She's having awful times with her husband at the moment. They're in a rut. There's no romance there. It's just them parenting 2 young kids, and well, one baby, and the other one's Gracie, who's 9, and she's just had a first ever period, so she's hormonal, and it's just, yeah. And like, so it's even just like, it's quite nice how, you know, they're all there for one another, how they're helping each other, and like, oh, it's so festive. It's the most Christmassy book I've read so far. Like Heidi Swain books, I always feel are very Christmassy, but I haven't read her book yet. But this is giving Heidi Swain a run for her money at the minute in regards to the Christmassy feels. But it's just the family. I love the family, their humour, their dynamics. It just screams my family. And then with Whitney and Eli, the tension and the flashbacks, like, I am waiting for the whole something to happen, because it is going to be on fire. But I love this book. It's the perfect book, and I'm thriving. Like, I've only started it today, and I'm like, I'm going to finish this today, because there's nothing else I want to do apart from finish this book. It's brilliant. I love it. If you haven't picked this book up, it's on Kindle Unlimited. Get it. You won't be disappointed, in my opinion. But yeah, that's my update. I probably will give you my last update of when I finish this book, and then I will end this vlog here, because it's been going on for ages and I've got nothing else really to do. But I want to finish this book to tell you my like end thoughts. But that's it. That's pretty much what Sunday has been. And yeah, I will talk to you when I finish the book, give me my final thoughts, and then I will end this vlog here. But yeah, get this book. It is just amazing. Good morning, my loves. It's Tuesday, and I didn't end my vlog or anything. I was meant to do it yesterday, but I was so busy. Basically, yesterday it was like back to school. We also had the Christmas performance that Alice was doing, and it was the first performance we saw, because both reception and year 1 was COVID, so we never got to see their performance. It was over on Teams, and we never got like a recording from it either. So it was the first time we actually got to see them do anything. It was lovely. We had to rush from school to the doctors, because I had an asthma appointment. And then everything went downhill from there, because Maisie got rushed to the vets, because on Friday, Eddie, who is our elf on the shelf, left out a plastic poop as a little joke. Maisie hadn't touched it, but obviously me, Mum and Alice went to the fair on Friday. Maisie was left with my dad. My dad obviously was in a playroom. Maisie, when she waits for Mum, she waits in the hallway in her blanket. But obviously, while she was waiting, she decided to chew it. And yeah, so she started whining a lot and shaking, and like, really unsettled. She wouldn't sit still or anything. And just because we knew she had ate quite a bit of this plastic poop, we were like, right, okay. So Mum and Dad took Maisie to the vets, and so they kept her overnight for like just to give her pain meds and everything. They did do an x-ray, and they saw a lot of gas and something in her stomach, but they weren't sure whether it was the plastic or whether it's food or something. So she's doing okay. She's like at her food, she's weeing and pooing fine. She's, you know, everyone's loving her there. She slept with one of the veterinary nurses and a cat, just because she's never been apart from anyone. Like, she sleeps in her parents' bed, so you know. But yeah, we're not sure what's going to happen, whether they're going to x-ray her and go from there. I don't know, but she's at the vet, so it's a bit sad times. So I never got to vlog, because obviously Alice got really upset, and like everyone was stressed and stuff, and I had to sort out tea, which was a disaster as it is. But we're here. So Sunday obviously finished The Plight Before Christmas by Kate Stewart, and you probably would have saw from my previous update about the book, it is a 5-star read. If I could give it 100 stars, I would. It was brilliant. It was just brilliant, and it actually got emotional near the end, because we finally got to see the actual reason behind what happened to Eli and Whitney, and so basically, like, we go backwards and forwards in the past, so we sort of saw how they got together, and then a little bit after I updated you, like a couple of chapters in, I then got the like breakup. But we saw the breakup, but actually there was more behind it, which we got as we went further on near the end. So basically, Eli broke up with Whitney purely by one simple thing, to what we saw back then. So basically, Whitney wanted Eli to come home with her to meet the family for Christmas over at the cabin, but we obviously know that Eli has lost his family, so it's quite a sore subject when it comes to family and stuff for him, and he didn't want to. So they were having a bit of an argument over there. While that happened, he noticed a pregnancy test in the trash that she hadn't, like, it was still open, so he saw it, and obviously it was negative because she was on a pill, but just because they obviously were having unprotected sex, she wanted to make sure, purely because she was 6 days late, which is nothing new, like, she can be late, but she just obviously wanted to make sure it wasn't anything like that. And like, Eli sort of freaked. He basically was like, and Whitney was like, it's negative, there's nothing to worry about. And he goes, but yeah, but I'm sure you probably were, like, if you were pregnant and blah blah blah. And so he ended up breaking up with her purely because, like, he said, like, I'm not right for you, this is not working. And like, she obviously said that she was seeing a future with Eli, and Eli pretty much was saying he never saw a future with her, he was just having fun, it was just sort of a casual thing, he didn't, you know. So obviously Whitney spent Christmas with her family absolutely heartbroken, and so, like, her family sort of were picking up all of the pieces but not fully knowing, so that's why, like, the family didn't really know straight away that Eli was the ex, and it was the ex that made her in a complete mental breakdown sort of thing. So we had that, and I was fuming. I was like, are you serious? Is that what the breakup was? Like, over him? And yeah, but obviously as we get a bit more near the end of the book, more things came to light, and it made total sense, but I absolutely blubbed my eyes out. I had a full-blown crying. I couldn't read because I couldn't stop crying and I couldn't read the words. But basically, the reason behind everything, the reason behind why Eli is funny with families, because obviously he lost his family and we find out why. Also at the same time, why Eli doesn't like loud noises and busy places and stuff like that. We also see reasons behind that, and the real reason why actually him and Whitney broke up. So basically, Eli was diagnosed with leukemia when he was a young child, and he went through chemo and radiotherapy where he used to live somewhere in America, and it wasn't working, it wasn't doing anything, it was failing. And basically the doctors at this particular hospital where he was living at first basically were like, you know, there really isn't anything more we can do. It is basically just, you know, live his life while he can. But, you know, so basically he was sort of, everyone was sort of told, like, you know, no, he is going to die at some point. And, you know, but his mum and dad were obviously, like, fighting because they didn't want to give up hope, and, like, you know, obviously they're going through all that, they were having arguments. But Eli's dad found and was in talks with someone in North Carolina, which is where he mainly grew up, which is obviously where he met Whitney as well. But basically his dad found a doctor who was doing sort of different treatments for leukemia and having some success rates. So Eli's dad was like, we're moving all the way down there, we're going to try it, like, you know, we can't just give up hope. So Eli went through radiotherapy, chemo and some other stuff, and, you know, he was there for a good few years. And while that was happening, his mum drove in to drink, his parents were arguing a lot. However, the treatment was working. You know, he was going through treatment, but he also was living his life a bit more than what he was. But along the way, his parents kind of shielded him and they shouldn't have. So basically he started making friends with other cancer patients on the ward, but he got close to one boy, and that boy unfortunately passed away. And obviously that brought Eli down, and it sort of, like, what hope he did have, he sort of was like, no, this is going to be me. So he got quite depressed over it for a bit. And so bless his parents, like, you know, they were doing what they thought was best to protect him, but they decided to shield him so, like, he didn't get to see, and he was, like, put in a ward on his own, like in his own room. So all he saw was his parents and staff who gave him his drugs and stuff like that. So he basically, that's all he was seeing. He wasn't going out, so, you know, he hadn't seen the outside world and all that. You know, basically treatment was going well, like, he was allowed to have a bit more of a life and stuff. So obviously he went to, I think he went to college or started going to college or something. Anyway, basically he went to have his test results to see whether everything had worked or whether it hadn't, whatever. Like, he went in thinking it's not going to work, like, it's too good to be true sort of thing. So him and his dad are there waiting, they're waiting for his mum to come, but, like, his mum's nowhere to be found. And basically then the mum calls the dad to say something. She must have been drunk or something, or forgot. I don't really know. It didn't really go in. Anyway, the dad goes off to go and pick the mum up while the boy's waiting for them to come back. But Eli, basically, the doctor's like, I'll give them like a little bit longer, but if they don't come back in X amount of time, I'm going to have to tell you because I've got somewhere else to be, sort of thing. And obviously Eli was waiting, but he never turned up. So, and anyway, he found out his results. He's in remission. And that, the doctor believes that actually if this carries on like that, he's going to be able to live a normal life. So Eli was so excited and really happy because he thought, right, this is good news. I'm in remission. This is going to bring my parents and my family back together. So he then went to ring his parents to say, like, where are you? Like, I've got the news, blah, blah, blah. No answer. And then like 5 minutes later, he gets a phone call to say like his parents were in a crash. It literally was just their parents in a crash. They went over and toppled off. And Eli believes that actually they were arguing, and the father obviously was arguing and not paying attention to the road, and must have, wherever he veered off and like went off to, you don't know, but basically there was no one at fault. There was no one at fault in the car or anything, so it just sounds like they had an argument. His father wasn't paying attention and maybe veered off, and yeah, so obviously they died. And obviously Eli was like, he had all of, he sort of had blame on himself, thinking, if I didn't have this, my parents wouldn't have been there, blah, blah, blah. So like he obviously had a really positive thing that he's in remission and like can live his life, but also at the same time he's grieving because his parents died and he's now got no one in his life. And so like he starts college, but like for him, because he's never seen people, and he's never been outside, so loud noises freak him out, crowds freak him out. So it was a major big adjustment for him, but also at the same time he never got any mental help, so he was obviously going through a lot mentally. Like, he was in a remission, but he had that pessimistic bit of thinking it's not going to stay for long, like, I'm going to get poorly again and I'm going to die. So like he really didn't want to do much to give him hope, sort of thing. And then he met Whitney, and so in some sense Whitney helped him mentally. Like he fell in love with her, they both fell in love with each other. He fell in love with her, but he also was worried because he didn't want to get too into it with her just in case he died, because he had in his head, I'm not going to stay, I'm going to die, it's not fair on her, like I can't give her what I want, because I think he got told when he was 12 that because of chemo and radiotherapy that he probably is sterile, that he won't be able to have like children. Anyway, so he ends up telling Whitney all of that. He tells Whitney that the reason why he broke up was because literally, they had that talk of the future and like babies, and he didn't know how to tell Whitney that actually I probably can't have children, and I've had this. He basically just didn't want to tell her that he's been poorly and that he's so scared that he's getting poorly again. But the breakup helped because he realised that he needed to get help. So we went and got therapy, and he got that help, and he started living his life and all of that. And him and Whitney actually did like a birthday bucket list for every year, and he actually had that still because she left it at his place, so he kept it and actually did all of those birthdays up until the last 2 birthdays, because that was, he didn't, like, she was at that age, sort of thing, and he wanted, I think deep down he wanted to do it with her. So anyway, he tells her, and obviously everything makes sense and all of that, and obviously they get back together properly and blah blah blah. And so that was really lovely, and it was really sweet, and I cried my eyes out because I wasn't expecting that twist. And then like obviously it sort of ends, everyone, like all of the relationships with the siblings all got back to normal as well. And then we had like an epilogue sort of thing, and I really liked the epilogue because I sort of was like, oh, is it going to miraculously say that they had children and stuff like that? But actually no. So they went back to the cabin for Christmas, like a proper first Christmas being together, and Eli just proposes to her in a car, nothing fancy or anything, and obviously she says yes, but all of the family are there. And yeah, it just ended lovely. And like, so Whitney's actually dream job is like, she loves to sing and to produce music and stuff like that, so she ends up actually going down that route, and she has a song and actually been released and it's doing really well. So I actually quite liked it. They also made their own bucket list that they did together, so it was sort of quite nice, because I thought like it wasn't the whole like they miraculously had children, which I, from what I'm gathering, probably won't happen. But yeah, it was just lovely. It was 5 stars. Like, it was just the best book. Like, it was fully Christmassy. And yeah, and I must admit, I decided not to pick up another Christmas book purely because I don't think anything can match that at the minute. So I was like, right, I'm just going to read something else that's not a Christmas romance, and then pick another Christmas romance a little bit later, because if I read something now that was a Christmas romance, nothing would be on par with that. It was just amazing. I know I've given it away, but do read it, because it's just wonderful. It's just so well done. The characters are lovely. The Christmas parts are just it's just wonderful. So it was 5 stars. If I could give it a more bigger rating, I would. But yeah, so that's the end of this vlog. I hope you enjoy it. I am planning to do another vlog. My next vlog, I think, is going to be me wrapping up presents, and I'm also going to try and do some Christmas reading, or reading in general, and I also want to try and watch some Christmas movies, so I'm going to probably do like a weekend vlog of that. And I think probably in the next vlog I might do a birthday vlog, because my birthday's on the 22nd. So I don't know whether to do my birthday and combine Christmas Eve, because Christmas Eve we always do loads, and then probably leave it like that, because I don't really want to vlog on Christmas Day, and I might do like New Year's or something. That's sort of the plan. I don't want to do too many, because obviously I want to enjoy everything on your own. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this vlog. I know it's probably a long one. When I like doing long ones, it's what I am. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and I will catch up with you in the next vlog for sure.